Studying history helps us understand how events in the past made things the way they are today. Events in the past have displaced families and groups, changing the makeup of regions and often causing tensions. Such events have also created government systems that have lasted generations beyond when they started. And all of it affects each person alive today.
Lions and lionesses play different roles in the life of the pride. The lionesses work together to hunt and help rear the cubs. This allows them to get the most from their hard work, keeping them healthier and safer. Being smaller and lighter than males, lionesses are more agile and faster.
Getting enough water every day is important for your health. Drinking water can prevent dehydration, a condition that can cause unclear thinking, result in mood change, cause your body to overheat, and lead to constipation and kidney stones. Water has no calories, so it can also help with managing body weight and reducing calorie intake when substituted for drinks with calories, such as sweet tea or regular soda.
Demand for natural gas has grown internationally in recent years, in part because it has a smaller carbon footprint than coal and other fossil fuels. In Singapore, where the government has promoted increased use of natural gas, consumption has grown about ninefold in recent decades. In some places, natural gas consumption has expanded as public opinion has turned against nuclear power.
Today, most American citizens over the age of 18 are entitled to vote in federal and state elections. But voting was not always a right for all Americans, because the Constitution did not specifically say who could vote. This question was largely left to the states in the 1800s. While no longer explicitly excluded, voter suppression is a problem in many parts of the country.
Throughout history, Stanford medicine has been home to cutting-edge medical advances, including the first successful adult human heart transplant in the United States and the first combined heart-lung transplant in the world. Stanford School of Medicine is the West Coast's oldest medical school and worldwide leader in patient care, education, and innovation.
Sportsmanship comes in many forms and helps make competitive games fun and enjoyable. It fosters good habits and positive life skills both in and out of sports games, and is an important life skill for people of all ages. It is also key to becoming a mature, respectful, and successful adult.
Contemporary scholars who study scientific methodology are often frustrated by the implication that science is logically falsifiable. The problem is that scientists can always make excuses to avoid falsifying a claim. The discovery of Neptune is a famous case. Astronomers had noticed irregularities in the orbit of Uranus. One possibility was that these irregularities violated the theory currently used to explain planetary motion, and that this theory should be rejected.
With our current situation and the state of the global economy, there is a much lower chance of landing a new job anytime soon, and it's unclear when social distancing measures will end or what shape the economy will be in when you are able to return to work.
Like other cognitive biases, implicit bias is a result of the brain's tendency to try to simplify the world. Because the brain is constantly inundated with more information than it could conceivably process, mental shortcuts make it faster and easier for the brain to sort through all of this data.
It is important to note that even good stress can lead to spikes in blood sugar levels. Mental and physical stress, such as worrying about your job or getting sick, can create negative stress. But even positive or exciting events, like riding on a roller coaster or winning an award, can create stress on your mind and body. Psychology is both an applied and academic field that benefits both individuals and society as a whole. A large part of psychology is devoted to the diagnosis and treatment of mental health issues, but that is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the impact of psychology.
For a lunar eclipse to occur, the Sun, Earth, and Moon must be roughly aligned in a line. Otherwise, the Earth cannot cast a shadow on the Moon's surface and an eclipse cannot take place. When the three bodies are aligned in a way that the Moon is partly covered by the Earth's umbra, a partial lunar eclipse is the result.
As of Friday, Musk and Twitter had given no public notice of the coming layoffs, according to a spokesperson for California's Employment Development Department. That's even though the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification statute requires employers with at least 100 workers to disclose layoffs involving 500 or more employees, regardless of whether a company is publicly traded or privately held. If you walk into your kitchen, almost everything has encountered plastic in one way or another. The plastic bags you stuff into a drawer, your favorite cup, and even the packaging keeping those blueberries fresh. Despite plastic's ubiquity, we often forget where it comes from. Indeed, when it comes to plastic, our efforts seem much more focused on what happens after rather than before we use it.
The blame for overconsumption should not and cannot be placed solely on individuals. Companies and corporations have a vested interest in making you buy more stuff because if they don't, they go bankrupt. This is why they slap green labels onto their products and advertise everywhere. Indeed, the whole idea of a personal carbon footprint is a propaganda campaign created by a fossil fuel giant. For as long as society has existed, we've understood the role of surrounding influences on our decision-making. With idioms like "it takes a village to raise a child" and "you are the product of your environment," we understand that to a great extent our upbringing, our parents and the society we grew up in influence our decision-making process.
In classes, your teachers will talk about topics that you are studying. The information that they provide will be important to know when you take tests. You must be able to take good written notes from what your teachers say.
Major breeding areas and breeding islands are shown as dark green areas or dots. Open dots are shown no breeding records on islands and are also used for offshore sightings, that is from ships or boats. Other areas where species are not meant to be seen are plain pale green, with pale green hatching, where records are usually sparse.
This is what needs to happen on climate change. The world needs to put a price on carbon emissions and let the market respond. If politicians pretend this can be done without pain, it will probably result in another 5 to 10 years of pretending to take action.
The primary application we're targeting at first is to give people a decision aid during rehabilitation following an acute knee injury, to help them understand when they can perform particular activities and when they can move to different intensities of particular activities. Useful thing to take crack at.
Programming is the art of expressing solutions to problems so that a computer can execute those solutions. Much of the effort in programming is spent finding and refining solutions. Often, a problem is only fully understood through the process of programming a solution for it.
Most words have experienced several changes in meaning throughout their history, so that it is impossible to say which stage in their meaning is the true meaning. And if we attempt to go back to the beginning, we find it is impossible, for the origins of many words are difficult to trace back.
Never before has the world of journalism been so explosive, so global, and so competitive. Forget Ali news flashes. We live in a world of 24-hour breaking news, with radio and TV stations and internet news sites updating stories by the minute.
Once you've picked a general topic for your paper, you need to come up with a thesis. Your thesis is the main focal point of your paper. It's the position you'll take on your particular topic. Formulating a strong thesis is one of the most important things you need to do to ease your paper.
So, as much as this is a book about the experience of traveling, the contemplation of cities that are vast in scale and villages that are as remote and strange as anything Westerners are ever likely to encounter, it is also a book that tries to describe another kind of journey.
The one-year program of the Master in Global Management is designed only for those who have the graduate degree in the thesis. It increases the temporary skill of new managers in an international capacity, something that recruiters are looking for more and Market research is a vital part of the planning of any business. However experienced you or your staff may be in a particular field, if you are thinking of introducing a service to a new area, it is important to find out what the local population thinks about it first.
For centuries, Atlantis has been one of the Western world's favorite legends, a tantalizing blend of fantasy and mystery. Stories tell of a rich and glorious empire that was lost to the sea, where some hope its ruins still lie, waiting to be discovered.
A recent trend in the entertainment world is to adapt classic works of literature for either TV or movies. One argument is that this is to everyone's benefit, as it introduces people to works they might otherwise never have, but is rarely done successfully. The Office of Personnel Management was the target of the attack, but data from nearly every government agency was stolen. U.S. investigators say they believe Chinese hackers were behind the breach.
The brain is divided into two hemispheres, called the left and right hemispheres. Each hemisphere provides a different set of functions, behaviors, and controls. The right hemisphere is often called the creative side of the brain, while the left hemisphere is the logical or analytic side of the brain. In statistics, a predetermined number of observations can be extracted from a larger population. This is called sampling. There are many sampling techniques adopted by researchers and statisticians, and the type of sampling depends upon the analysis to be performed. When it seems time-consuming to obtain data from every member of the population, then sampling techniques are employed.
parents and hits the cycle of sports, and it's easy to get caught up in a game and become focused on winning. Yet there is much more to be gained from the sports experience than a winning record. When children and teens are involved in sports, they are able to learn and put into practice values that will stay with them for the rest of their lives.
Modern technology changed a lot from what we saw in the last decade or the past century. New machines and gadgets are invented to make jobs easier like never before. From the little tailor machine to the fastest car in the world, all got automated, reducing the manual actions required to the least.
The spiral of silence is a mass communication theory introduced by Elizabeth to describe the process of public opinion formation. He defines the spiral of silence as the process an individual experiences when he may find that the views he holds are losing ground. The more this appears to be so, the less he will be inclined to express his opinion.
The internet has grown in importance by many folds over the process of decade. Its importance in the education world can now never be undermined. Despite the chances of fraud and drawbacks, the use of the internet is like a blessing for students. Today, the internet is something that is present in almost everything we use.
Public opinion stabilizes and integrates society because conflicts will be resolved through spirals of silence in favor of one opinion. Wherever people live together in societies, public opinion will function as a mechanism of social control. However, what specifically public opinion approves or rejects will change with time and differ from place to place.
Sportsmanship is an understanding of and commitment to fair play, ethical behavior and integrity, and general goodwill toward an opponent. It is an affirmation that an athlete is disciplined enough to have perspective, maintain poise, and do what is best for his or her teammates. Being able to make appropriate behavioral choices in a pressure situation will often reveal a player's character.
Visual images always have a strong appeal compared to words. Using projectors and visuals to aid in learning is another form of great technological use. Top institutions around the world now rely on the use of amazing PowerPoint presentations and projections in order to keep the learning interactive and interesting.
Modern technology has impacted every area of our lives and become a crucial factor in no time. We even reached a point where everything we use in our daily life is directly or indirectly related to the technological advancement of some form. So, modern technology cannot be avoided even if we intentionally wanted to.
An internal body clock regulates your sleep cycle, controlling when you feel tired and ready for bed or refreshed and alert. This clock operates on a 24-hour cycle known as the circadian rhythm. After waking from sleep, you will become increasingly tired throughout the day. These feelings will peak in the evening leading up to bedtime.
The curriculum for the Masters in Business Administration has been specifically crafted to help you advance your career or even manage your own business. Students will learn how to position organizations for a competitive advantage, manage team collaboration, and formulate effective business strategies. Our curriculum has been developed by top-notch academic leadership to help students succeed.
Studying history helps us understand how events in the past made things the way they are today. Events in the past have displaced families and groups, changing the makeup of regions and often causing tensions. Such events have also created government systems that have lasted generations beyond when they started. And all of it affects each person alive today.
Getting enough water every day is important for your health. Drinking water can prevent dehydration, a condition that can cause unclear thinking, result in mood change, cause your body to overheat, and lead to constipation and kidney stones. Water has no calories, so it can also help with managing body weight and reducing calorie intake when substituted for drinks with calories, such as sweet tea or regular soda.
Demand for natural gas has grown internationally in recent years, in part because it has a smaller carbon footprint than coal and other fossil fuels. In Singapore, where the government has promoted increased use of natural gas, consumption has grown about ninefold in recent decades. In some places, natural gas consumption has expanded as public opinion has turned against nuclear power.
Today, most American citizens over the age of 18 are entitled to vote in federal and state elections. But voting was not always a right for all Americans, because the Constitution did not specifically say who could vote. This question was largely left to the states in the 1800s. While no longer explicitly excluded, voter suppression is a problem in many parts of the country.